Yeah, it is funny that you mention that with that there might be coming a repeat of history, because I was just listening to a podcast, my favorite one with Richard Precht and Marcus Lutz, where they were talking about how how the Iranians who are now having a chokehold on the Strait of Hormuz is actually kind of like and how the U.S. And Israel, but mainly the U.S. of course, because they're the big bully in this. How this entire conflict is actually a reversed Sparta. Because, you remember from history from history in high school, and from the movie Sparta, where we also have these 300 Spartan men and a couple of Greek mercenaries, about 6,000 of them, but history has forgotten about those. But relatively few people that stood at Sparta, this little tiny canyon through which the entire military army of Persia, Xerxes, was coming in, and they actually managed to hold them off for quite a long time. And this is essentially today what we have is the reverse. Now it's the Persians, although not the Persians, but it's the modern Persians, the Iranians, who are now holding back the world and the Americans from going through this fucking little strait of Hormuz. And then of course we have the Houthis, which this is what I've learned through these past few days with these insane negotiations that have also inevitably failed. I mean, we all saw that coming, of course, because Trump is insane. And also, what I don't get with this war is now we're at the point where the negotiations have failed. None of them are any of the wiser. Both sides are still blaming each other that the other doesn't want to yield, or doesn't want to come to a compromise. But now Trump and the Iranians, they have been blocking the Strait of Hormuz for the last couple of weeks. But now what I don't get is, why is Trump now saying, I'm going to block the ship traffic further?
Another impulsive move just to make some noise.
Yeah, but why? I mean, they're already blocked. But then, my brother mentioned when I talked to him earlier that it could be because the Iranians are still allowing the Russians and the Chinese fleets to go through there,
yes.
and that's what Trump is blocking now.
I wanted to say something about those. It's funny that it's seemingly like nobody in NATO that is aiding America in this war. There's Denmark is not in Iran, Norway is not in Iran, nobody is in fucking Iran except for America, right? But it's funny that Russia is definitely supporting Iran with military intelligence on the U.S.
On
US military movements, and you have China also fucking stepping into the mix and supporting Iran. You need anything, weapons, drones, whatever, right? We're here. We got your back, bro.
Yeah. Fuck, man. Which leads me to think that there's more behind the curtains than just the Iranian war. I mean, there's gotta be, but that said, Trump is still confused. I genuinely don't think he knows what he's doing.
And look at fuck man, I can't pronounce his name. Netanyahu.
Netanyahu. No.
Yeah.
Whatever the fuck his name.
Let's just call him Nate.
Yeah, Nate,
Right?
Nate, the Jew, Nate.
Yeah, right. Like it's like Nate and Trump are like not fucking talking about like what they should say, because you have Trump who is saying like, oh, we want to end the war, we're gonna get like peace deal, or we're gonna force them into peace, right?
Yeah, and the thing is, like Trump has never been, because the last part of this conspiracy that I was talking about before was while they're sitting in this situation room, then Netanyahu and when Nate is putting up these 4 points that he believes will succeed if America joins Israel in this war. And these 4 points is the first one was to kill the top leaders, the Ayatollah. Well, they've accomplished that, right? The second thing was that they want to make the Revolutionary Guard, the military in Iran, unstable. They didn't accomplish that. They're still very much functioning. 600,000 revolutionary soldiers still standing tall, still fighting, and have been fighting for 5 weeks. So and Stefan Kratz from DR1 also agrees with this, that the Iranians are stronger than ever, even after 5 years of persisting against the toughest military in the world, the U.S.
Yeah.
You have to consider that as well. And then there was point 3 and 4, which was that Nate thought that it was going to be quickly that the Iranians, that there would become an uprising during this war. That hasn't happened either. The regime is still very much in place. And number 4, a regime change, which also hasn't happened. And a lot of experts are actually speculating that the regime, due to the war, is actually now stronger than it was before, because now nobody is talking about the bad mullah regime anymore. Now people are just talking about oil. The prices are rising. The prices are going up.
It's funny because at the beginning of the war here, then everybody was like cheering and saying like, yeah, liberate Iran, right, US.
Yeah.
And at this point, America is the liberator. At this point, America does have the support of the world, right? But then they started to hit hospitals and schools and shit. And all of a sudden, their role changes from being the liberator of a country to the aggressor.
Yeah.
So then the regime in Iran just gets even more entrenched and gets support, because now they are actually the good guys trying to protect us from America.
Now they're the Spartans who are just defending themselves from the evil empire.
Yeah, and Russia, China are like all on board with this. So yeah, and again, like I don't get why they were like saying that like there would be an uprising and a regime change, because if you look at the different factions,
this is just a conspiracy theory.
I know.
Because according to this theory, Nate was smuggled into the situation room because it's highly. It's highly rarely that any prime minister or any top leaders come to this room. So it would, even if it did happen. This is still a conspiracy theory. If it did happen, they would have smuggled him in beyond, under the radar of the press.
Like the regime in Iran has like 70% support or something among the population, and the rest is like different factions like spread out all over Iran, which is a huge country. Like the Kurds for one, and some rebels, and so on, right?
Yeah.
Nobody is like working together. There is nobody like talking together, like to cooperate and saying like, yeah, we're gonna have an uprising and then we're gonna do this and that and we're gonna be in charge. There is none of that. So again, there was nobody to like stand there and like take over the regime.
No, no.
or like to take control, and so I don't know what the fuck they were thinking. And
The
now the result is that you have like a shit ton of like powder kegs around the world that is like ready to blow.
yeah,
You have the Russo-Ukrainian war. You have now the Iranian war. Like now
yeah.
you now have the Iran and Iran U.S. war. You have the China sitting and waiting to take Taiwan.
Yeah, but I listened to the podcast between we spoke off the podcast before on the phone, and but since then I listened to the podcast and Richard Precht and Marcus Lanz at least they don't agree that that the Taiwan China situation is that explosive because Taiwan is more closer inclined toward China. It could be that an alternative option is that Taiwan will eventually feel more inclined towards reuniting with China peacefully rather than militarily. That could
Right.
also happen.
The,
Because
right.
because of an election in Taiwan being influenced by pro Chinese what do you call it? Yeah, pro Chinese voters, and then they just automatically get a part of mainland China again because they are also
Yeah.
heavily trade
And,
dependent on China.
yeah, they are. And like up till
But
now,
actually, I gotta say this thing. Well, we spoke on the phone before, right? And you mentioned the chips.
yes,
This
right.
is exactly the same that Marcus Lanz was talking about as well. That the chips are probably the pinnacle of our globalized world because
Yeah,
it is probably the most globalized product that is in so many countries, Germany included. When these chips they leave China, then they need to be further developed in some German company that is specialized in some weird thing. Then they need to go to some other part of the world before they end up in Nvidia or some of all these
but
other Tesla, all of these
just
other American companies.
it's interesting because the reason why like China still needs to buy chips from Taiwan and Nvidia and the rest of the world is that they are not able to produce the same quality themselves.
No,
Because
yeah, that's true.
because in China they're like thinking like fucking make it now.
Yeah,
They're like regardless, like just pump it out.
yeah,
Uh, and if they were to like take over Taiwan peacefully or not peacefully or whatever, uh,
yeah.
would this change?
Well,
Because
I mean, it would certainly
like
change the balance of the relationship to China because suddenly China would hold all the power in
yeah,
terms of these chips. And if we have another maniac like Trump who's going to put tariffs, I mean, it would create a situation where China ends up having a chokehold on the balls of the U.S. If they don't
yeah,
play ball, then the entire, as you said, the entire American economy goes under
yeah.
because
But
because because the entire American economy is so based on the chip production in Taiwan.
it still requires the quality to remain the same. Uh, because
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah. But they
they're like
are
testing
they
that.
are on the rise also in terms of green energy and batteries and anything electrical. I read an article in what was it? The Christian, yeah, it's the Christli Dagblad.
Yeah,
But there was an interesting article by the leader the leader of the paper who wrote that we are entering a time of the U.S. as a, what was it he called it, as a fossil fuel state, going back to fossil fuels, and China on the other hand going towards the electro ism age, because they're the front runners on that, and it's basically a new Cold War scenario where we have fossil fuels in the West, in America, and the electro age that's starting in China.
Right.
And that's
China is like way ahead on a lot of things. I mean, like they have
yeah,
fucking functioning robots. They have functioning AI driving cars,
yeah.
taxis, and they have factories working like completely automated.
But that's
Uh,
also one of the very few examples of a kind of dictatorship, or at least autocrat. What do you call it? An autocratic regime that actually works, that actually benefits the Earth, because there they don't have to fucking argue whether, like, do we think this is a good idea socially or
right.
economically. No. We just fucking embed it in the economic structures, and then we
Like,
just do it.
that's what happens when you just have like a one-party government,
Yeah.
and there's a guy who sits there and just says like, "Do it,"
Yeah.
right? And then, uh, so definitely there's always like negatives and positives.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, of course, it has a social blowback on the population, as with everything China does. But that's because they don't really care too much about the people. But in terms of environment, you can really appreciate the regime.
They are like they are also like having 50-year plans and 100-year plans, in their politics, right?
Yeah.
And that doesn't change even when like Xi Jinping dies and some other fucking dude takes his place. Then those 50-year plans are still in motion,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Uh, in the West, you would have like you've seen it with like Trump, where he has just been like, yeah, just nullify and delete everything Obama did. Delete, like,
Fuck.
fuck that, and like pull America out of this Paris climate agreement.
And then, of course, if you just roll back what the previous government did, then of course it's then it's obvious that you never get anywhere.
Yeah,
If it's just forth and back and forth and back.
yeah. So
Uh,
it makes it like very difficult. And I'm like seeing the same thing in Denmark as in Norway, where you have like a shit ton of different parties, uh, in politics.
yeah.
And so like so you have to have a collaboration government with a lot of other parties. And I'm like sitting here wondering like how do you get shit done?
Yeah. Like,
Because you will have somebody there like saying like, nah, I don't agree with that. Yeah,
well, like
no,
there is like certainly, though, a lot of merits to discussing things and keeping the dialogue going. I mean, that's what I believe in with this podcast as well. That as soon as the discussion stop, then it becomes an alienated, one-sided way of running the countries or the politics. So there needs to be a discussion, but the problem is that when the discussion when it's the case like it is in the US, when the discussion becomes polarized and people aren't listening to each other anymore, and are trying to actually counter each other, like every 4 years, and trying to, like, yeah, as you said, nullify each other, or cancel each other out, then it becomes dangerous. But I think, like, the way we're running it here, like, of course, it is getting increasingly difficult with Denmark because there's so many what do you call it, fløjpartier, side parties. So there's not too many middle parties anymore, which is the problem. Actually, I can very much appreciate what the Danish Prime Minister, what the Danish leader for the moderates, Lars Løkke, is doing, because he's trying to collect, to unify the both sides rather than split them apart, and that's what we need.
So what's happening now? Is it still Mette Frederiksen who is the prime minister, or?
Yeah, well, we don't know yet, no. Because they're still at it. But I remember I said this after the election, that it would take at least 42 days.
Wow.
And have they reached a conclusion yet?
No.
Just like I said, yeah. But then again, I have also been listening to the experts and like following it very closely. So it would be strange if I was wrong.
Okay. What was the point of like going around Christiansborg drinking beer then if you don't even know who's the winner yet?
I can answer that real simple though. It's because Danes are very happy about their country, but first and foremost, and secondly, their democracy.
Fuck, man, you know, like,
and thirdly, we know how to enjoy a good party, and we don't need an excuse to drink.
You know that place was like missing somebody in like fucking costumes going around with like big mass glasses of beer.
Mm-hmm.
Like something like 1864 costume, like a soldier costume and a clown costume.
Yeah.
All right.
Fuck, man.
Fuck, man. We should do that in the next election.
Yeah.
Go up to Christiansborg and get like a couple of like outfits and walk around there and be like, yeah.
and then book one of those, because I didn't know that either. You don't actually. It doesn't cost money to book those what do you call them? Those seats like Espen Peder. All you have to do is a few months ahead of time. You just have to reserve your spot there.
We can like sit there and do like an all-night podcast, with costumes, and like drink beer, and then walk around.
Fuck, man, that would be great. I would love that. And just like, but I imagine that the bureaucracy of booking one of those side, what do you call it? Loge.
Yeah.
Those
booths.
Yeah, booths. One of those. You probably have to send in a lot of petitions to get one of those booths.
I gotta see a map of like where Christiansborg is. What day? Like it was like on a regular weekday, right?
Yeah, it's always a Tuesday for some reason.
It's always a Tuesday.
Yeah, Lord knows why. I literally don't know. Maybe it's because Tuesday is the most boring day of the week, because Monday and sociologists and psychologists have done studies on this, that Monday you discuss the weekend's events with your colleagues. So there it's like, yeah, what did you do? Oh, nice. Oh, yeah. So it's very fun. And Friday, obviously you're going out. Thursday is one day away from Friday. Wednesday is like in the middle of the week, so there you're like there you're already starting to get amped up for the weekend. But Tuesday is like a dead fuck, and that's why a lot of studies have shown that the most depressed time during the week is Tuesday right before lunch. because there it's like you haven't eaten yet, you're groggy because you don't have the interesting conversations on Monday with your coworkers, and you're just sitting there just doing bullshit work until you have your Tuesday lunch.
I mean, like we also like have there's also like a shit ton of like bars around Christiansborg.
What?
Like there's a bunch of like pubs and bars around Christiansborg Castle.
Damn, we
So
gotta take over one of those.
so like we could just like float around and being like be at like a check out fucking Christiansborg, try and interview like a couple of people, and then we'll be like like now we're back at like the Ruby Bar or La Fontaine, right?
Yeah, La Fontaine.
Yeah, like now we're back here and we're just gonna talk here like for another like 30 minutes or 45 minutes until we like head over to the next place for the next round.
Yeah. Fuck, man. That would be great. Like, we could even try to see if we can get into Christiansborg, but I think they have metal detectors as well. You definitely have to go through a security check.
For just the laptop and shit? Okay.
Yeah. Like,
No.
but then again, this is just based on that game. What was it called? Clandestine, which is made by a Danish developer. Where you actually have I told you about this?
No.
Where the game is made from a Danish developer, where it's basically the mechanic is it's asymmetrical co-op, where one guy has to sneak around and kill guards, and the other has to guide the one who's sitting with like the overview over cameras and like all kinds of gadgets that you can use to like blow pipes and stuff.
Yeah.
Really interesting. I played it with one of my friends, Rasmus. And the first level is where you have to break into Christiansborg. And I shit you not, when I played that, I didn't know it was a Danish developer. So when I entered one of these side entrances to Christiansborg, there was this guard who came up to me and spotted me. And I shit you not, he says in the most Danish accent, hvad fanden laver du her? Kan du komme ud herfra? Kan du komme ud herfra? And I fucking freaked so much that I died. Because he shot me. Like, yeah. Because you don't expect in a fucking stealth video game that's usually in English to hear the most Jutlandish accent of Denmark. Hvad fanden laver du her? Kan du se her? Come on.
That's fucking hilarious.
Fucking epic. We should play it. You should buy that. I think it's like
Yeah.
€5 on Steam.
Yeah.
Because I haven't played the hacker before. I've only played it because Rasmus was the hacker and I was the one who sneaked around.
Yeah.
But yeah, we should I wanted to mention one more thing to this conspiracy theory. Because I think Trump was the idiot here, because he was just sitting there because it was our friend Nate who was like sitting there rubbing his hands. gonna convince this idiot now to join me, and the conspiracy theory is why he did this is while the whole world is focused on the Strait of Hormuz, then what is Israel doing? They're gradually attacking Lebanon and gradually taking a little bit, piece by piece, of the land of Lebanon.
Yeah.
And they already, I believe they already have captured, according to Lunsenprecht at least, they have already captured a few square miles. And do you think that Lebanon is going to get that back after all this Strait of Hormuz shit is over?
No.
Fuck no. So the entire conspiracy theory is about that this entire conflict is not about for at least for Israel. It's not about Iran. It's actually just about gaining land in Lebanon.
Yeah. But that's another like conspiracy theory that Iran is doing just because they want to achieve Pax Judaica again, which is the greater Israel.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
if you look at the map for like greater Israel, it is fucking huge.
yeah. Fuck, man. But let's do an estimate now. How long do you think will go before the world turns their attention back onto Lebanon again? Seeing with the rising oil prices and it's not just the rising gas prices here in the West. Like the fuck, man, the shock waves that this that Iran has put, that the choke of Hormuz, I'm gonna call it the choke of Hormuz now, have sent out into everywhere in the world, like especially Asia for some reason. I didn't know this. Like the Philippines have declared a state of emergency, an energy state of emergency because they can't get power.
Like I don't know like how long time it's like Lebanon is like you agree with me like on like Lebanon is a failed state,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
It is.
Like their currency is shit, right?
I mean,
So
ever since Libya was Gaddafi. What was
yeah,
Lebanon?
Libya was Gaddafi. Well, like Lebanon is also like a failed state because like their
No.
currency has collapsed. They use American dollars and fucking Bitcoin. Um,
Um,
so like it is like difficult because people are like whenever they hear Lebanon, it just like goes in one ear and then out the other ear like Lebanon, oh that piece of shit place.
yeah, like me,
Uh,
like saying, wait, Libya? No, you mean
yeah,
you mean
but
Lebanon?
because you have like already like been indoctrinated to that this is a piece of shit country, right? It's a
Yeah.
failed state. So like anything fucking coming from Lebanon being like, children's hospital hit by missile in Lebanon, right? You're fucking dumb.
It's
For
like
being
it's like the war in Somalia, which nobody like.
yeah,
When have you heard the last time about that?
like a long time ago. Like so it is like it's like you gotta look for it. You gotta like actively like search for it and then read it being like right.
Yeah.
But so like I would like maybe the question should be, when will the world care about Lebanon again? Uh,
Oh
which
yeah, yeah.
which,
Which is never.
yeah, which is like never or a very very long time.
Yeah,
And
because all we care about is that we have to pay 50 kroners more every time we tank a cars.
and Israel will feed on that because they have always sent missiles over to Lebanon, right? Now they can do it more and they can do it more and more and more, right? Nobody
Yeah.
will care, right?
Yeah, because it's
So
just the dust of the Iran
so
war now.
okay, like I'll say this: the world will care when Israel has like finally like bombed the shit out of Lebanon enough to say, yep, we're just gonna like absorb this country into Israel now. And
Yeah.
then, yeah,
And at that point, the rest of the world will because they haven't been following it correctly. They will. Oh yeah, it might take that long time that Israel will annex a part of, maybe not the whole country, but a part of the country. I mean, certainly if Russia can annex Crimea and attack Ukraine, and America can attack Iran, then why can't Israel annex a little bit of Lebanon?
and it's kind of like crazy if you think about it because like
And why stop at Lebanon? Why not Gaza?
yeah, half the fucking world didn't know where Ukraine was on the map before Russia said, "Yep, we're just gonna annex Crimea." Right?
Oh,
Then it became a problem, right? Uh,
uh,
but why didn't you give a shit before that?
uh,
And then and then we're gonna see the same thing with Lebanon. That like they're like all of a sudden like randomly going to say like, yeah, this place on the map now is like part of Israel.
yeah,
And then we will have like all sorts of like media people and people shouting being and demonstrations being like, hey, you can't do that. Free Lebanon.
yeah. But like, I mean, like, I can explain that. It's because there's political anxiety. We're like frozen because we're afraid of dealing with these big superpowers. Um, what I can't understand though is why China remains silent. But then again, they've always had a long tradition of just neutrality. They like, and that's actually the good thing about China, though. They don't get involved in wars.
Yeah,
It's been a
because
long time since they fought a war.
yeah, but their strategy is different. It is like they take over, but they don't take over through war. You can like Google it or ask Albert, but
Yeah,
their strategy is pretty much to just like absorb it quietly, peacefully, secretly,
yeah.
and just
It's like the country version of capitalism of corporate companies that just buy up the small
yeah.
the small retail stores.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, yeah. Like they
So
like they take over the world inch by
uh,
inch, right? And China don't care about like
uh,
that taking 100 years or 500 years, whatever.
yeah. So
At the
so
end, we
so
win.
So just like in modern market capitalism, whenever a small company rises up with a new invention of a product that is very popular, that the people are buying, and it's handmade, it's locally sourced ingredients, all this it's special design, then comes 100 big Fortune 5, Fortune 50, or Fortune 100 companies saying like, we want to diversify our company, so we are buying you up. We're
Yeah,
snatching over your business model and incorporating you into us. So you
yeah.
have and then we're streamlining those products so they don't become unique anymore.
Like that's what.
And that's China.
Yeah, like Segway. You know the company Segway.
Yeah, I know that. I mean, I know the
Like
skateboards, but
yeah, like the skateboards and like the thing that you stand on and roll, right? Like
yeah,
electric shit.
yeah.
Uh, that was first American, right? Then there
Yeah.
was a then there was a company in China that just like decided to like copy that to the dot, right? Just replicate that shit, and they got like of course like a great success in China with that.
Yeah,
And
fuck.
then uh, and then the American Segway, the original motherfuckers were like, "Oh, you can't do that. We're gonna sue you."
Yeah.
And the Chinese guys that have now become like multiple times billionaires and making way more money than this American company is being like, the fuck, sue us, right? That's like sue us like we did something wrong. No, no, no,
uh,
no, 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 no. Fuck you. And then they go on and they buy up the controlling
uh,
shares of the American Segway and just absorbs it into their company.
yeah, because
And
they have the capital.
yeah, they have the capital. So like now there was nothing to sue with left.
Fuck. Fuck. But I never understood the legal the global legal institutions, I never understood this concept that you can sue a company in another country. I mean, how does that even work? because the laws are different from country to country. So how can you sue a country? How can you sue a company in a different country?
Again, I think like this was like an impulsive thing, much like Trump thinking that like they can do that because like they just saw like China and they just thought that like, yeah, it's probably like America, but it's not.
But it may
China,
like the only way I can explain it though is that you can, for instance, the Danish company. What is it? There's a Danish company that sells. I'm quoting Anders Matthesen, the comedian here, who was at some point in his show is talking about a company that sells hearing aids to the American market, and they got sued by a bunch of customers who did who chewed on them and stuff like that, or put them in the microwave, and they said, "Oh, this didn't say on the box."
yeah.
And they got sued by the customers because they didn't specify that in their texts, and that was always suspicious to me. But I think the way you can do that is that if you have customers in the country, then the purchase of those customers in the country in the company is under American law then, and then you have to treat the suit under American law because it's American customers.
Yeah.
But if they'd done the smart thing to pull out of that market, then they would be free of suits because you can't sue someone based on you can't be an American and buy a product in Denmark and use it in America and then sue the Danish company. That doesn't work because if the purchase happened in Denmark, then it's Danish law. And then you can't.
Right.
You can sue them, but then it would have to be according to Danish law.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
so that's how it works.
Like you're going, and that is like the difficult thing with China because copywriting or like copyright infringement is not a thing in China.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you can sell 100% fake beer and then use the label where it says Heineken. Exactly the same thing with McDonald's, Burger King, all that shit. There's nobody that is going to come after you and say oh, you can't do that.
Yeah, and that's the problem. But on the other hand, we are forced to do deals with China because they're such a big market, and there's there may be suits that no wait, what was it? No, yeah, we're forced to trade with them because it's such a big market and there's so much money to be made. So the downside of suits is outweighed by the upside of how much money you can make.
Yeah.
Of the products that are not being sued.
Yeah.
So yeah, the almighty dollar. The capitalism once again wins over the legal side.
Yeah.
And that's actually Marcus Lanz put it that very eloquently in this whole Iran situation. Once again, it's actually funny how Trump, who is always the big proponent, the big speaker for capitalism and the market must do what the market can do. But now the market has taught Trump a lesson, which is you don't fuck with the oil delivery without burning your own country on imports of oil.
Yeah.
So now the market has slapped Trump in the face.
Yeah.
Which is funny because this is supposed to be what he's actually an expert in. Like he is a great businessman, but apparently now he failed in business too.
Yeah, because he has no clue on how to apply this on a global stage.
No. Fuck no.
and then he's firing everybody who is giving him critiques. I mean, like he's like fucking fired like what is it, like 10 generals the last 2 months or something, and like none of them were like fired for misconduct.
They
So
all just tried to analyze the situation rationally, and
yeah, 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 yeah.
almost all of them said, Trump, this is not a good idea to invade this country.
And then,
Or
and,
not
and then
invade, but it's not an invasion yet, but attack this country. Yeah.
and then fired because like, you dare speak up against me? And
Yeah.
he's not Putin, so he can't kill them, but he can fire them.
Yeah.
Right?
You're fired.
Yeah.
Fucking
You're fired. You're fired. After
jeez.
20 years of service.
Fuck, man.
and
Yeah.
I like bet you that like these guys are going home now to write books, uh, so that when his president period ends, they will like all come
Yeah.
out with books like about like how fucking scandalous this shit was, and about like I tried to stop him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like I guarantee. Yeah, let's call it in 5 years. No, in no, even shorter than that.
yeah,
In
2 years.
well,
2 years.
like when does his term end?
Well, the next election is in 2028, right?
The midterm elections are coming up fast, and he's gonna lose those.
Yeah, but
Uh,
the presidential election is
yeah.
in 2028.
So I guarantee you that, like maybe not 2 years, maybe like 4 years after that, when the ship has been kind of straightened out again by whoever comes next. So 20, I call it now 2032. A lot of biographies by old military generals are gonna be published saying I was right.
Yeah. Fuck, man. I was right.
Yeah.
I tried to stop him.
Yeah.
Nobody helped me.
Yeah.
I was fired.
Fuck, man. Jesus. What?
But I think like it also sends like the wrong fucking message, because here you have like somebody who has had like an entire career in the military for like 20, 30 years, and
Yeah.
then just being fucking offed like that for no reason other than that you chose to speak up.
Yeah. Fuck, man.
Yeah.
and ignoring your own vice president.
Yeah.
That is fucking. Actually, I just wanna like make Albert fact check whether Vance was in Azerbaijan when Trump decided to attack Iran. Was Vance JD Vance in Azerbaijan when Trump decided to attack Iran?
So JD Vance was not in Azerbaijan when Trump decided to launch the military action against Iran. He was there for a diplomatic visit in early February 2026, but that was before the decision to attack was made. So he was not in the country at that critical moment.
Did you hear that?
Now what did he say?
No, JD Vance was not in Azerbaijan when Trump decided to launch the military action against Iran. He was there for yeah, but then he was there for a diplomatic visit in early February 2026, but that was before the decision to attack was made. So he was not in the country at that critical moment. Yes, but he was not there during the negotiations with Nate. So fuck, man. This is again Albert misinterpreting my words.
Albert isn't AI. He's just a fucking language model that that just searches internet and then comes with the first Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what Albert
the first most random answer.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, we're still above AI. We're still here. We're trying. We're on this podcast. We're trying to be the front runners of all the new technology. But we also conclude that we, the humans, the hosts, are above this meager, this pathetic technology.
Yeah, I don't like
I
see
mean-
like robots fucking replacing the human race anytime soon.
Fuck no.
Fucking like Musk saying that like, hey, 50% the laborers are gonna be replaced within the next 10 years.
Yeah, not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. And like what I do think is going to happen is that there's gonna be a shift in what humans will do. But humans are. I mean, fuck, man. Like, let's take all the paid work aside for a moment. Let's not think about what people are paid, but let's think about how much different shit people are doing constantly all the time. Is there anyone who's just sitting for 10 hours a day and staring into a wall?
Yeah, we do. No.
Like, in all honesty,
No, there isn't. But
like, people are way more busy with all kinds of shit than they are. So the real so what the point is, I want to get away from a society where we define existence as working, to getting into where we define existence as paid work or working.
Yeah.
Because working is not the same as being paid to work.
No, you have to like feel that you get some kind of incentive for it.
Yeah.
And that's what like the money is for. That like you like get some shit, you can buy more shit you don't need with. That's the incentive.
Yeah.
Genuinely, and that's number one. So it needs to like feel productive, but it can't be some fucking fapped out shit either, right?
Yeah.
And people are like generally just too fapped out. I mean, like you go to a fucking airport these days, you will see like 99% that is like waiting for the fucking plane, sitting with phones and iPads, scrolling, headphones on.
Yeah, because people are constantly doing something.
And even kids, man, like down to like 3-4 years old, will like sit with like fucking iPads or tablets and scrolling.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. So that just underlines my point. We don't live in a society where, like, actually, I'm gonna be so radical and say there's nobody who's lazy in this society, because everybody, even like people might not be doing something physically, but everyone is constantly either doing something mentally or physically.
Yeah.
So there's nobody who's doing nothing, truly nothing, for longer periods of time in our society, and that's toxic. We can talk about that for hours, but the distinction is that people are working a lot, either with their brain or their physique, but they're not getting paid for it, and that's the problem.
Yeah. That's the problem, and it's a wrong distribution in wealth too.
Yeah.
So you'll be working more for less.
Yeah.
So the incentive like to work is also like fucking going away.
But then again, like, you don't, like, this brings us further to, we could talk about David Graeber and his 5 categories of bullshit jobs. But I would much rather bring up the point that I made off the podcast earlier, where I was asking Albert a little bit more nuanced than I did, because like the thing is also, when I prompt Albert with the voice, then it's just like very simple questions. But
Yeah.
but for instance, the last time when I was asking about essential jobs versus non-essential jobs, you want to see? Can I share my screen? No, I can't. For some reason, I can't share.
Just tell me. Just tell me.
But I prompted. I can actually. I can just copy it here, and put it into the Discord chat. And I'm just gonna read the first sentence. This was the prompt that I prompted. So a lot of nuance to get a lot of information out. And the first sentence is, I'm more of an this was my prompt to ChatGPT in terms of what are the essential jobs in society and what are the non-essential jobs. And I was asking, I'm more of an optimist who thinks like, with all the technology and automation and now AI taking over tedious jobs, but sometimes also the fun creative jobs, the latter mostly AI, this creates a surplus in the economy as opposed to pre-industrial times. And this surplus can either end up in the pockets of the small group of core essential workers who spend the money on needless stuff they don't have the time to use due to the capitalist logic of buy more quickly, no need to consume it completely, or it can be redistributed through a social welfare model, universal basic income being one of them. So it ends up in the hands of people who don't do paid work in the traditional sense, but who have the potential freedom to use the money for creative enterprises such as creating their own business, writing books, doing human social work, the works better than technology, of course with the risk that this money is also used for drugs, alcohol, and other substance abuse, gaming, especially solo, that might not lead to anything in the real world, and other misdirected attentions. Holy shit, that was a long sentence. Fuck, man. Did I not use a dot there?
My brain just zoned out from all that fucking text and reading.
Yeah, but the thing is, AI doesn't zone out, so AI can treat all this information. And what what I got from all this bullshit. Because okay, so now you all listeners, all our one listener has now been subjected to my brain when it's playing. So this is from my train of thought sometimes.
Yeah.
So now you also know why I sometimes need to sleep 10 hours. Because I need a rest from all this crap.
Okay.
Because sleeping is resetting the brain.
Yeah.
But what I got from all this crap was basically one, the surplus you describe as real. This is Albert or the AI. The surplus you describe as real. Far fewer people produce far more output. That gap gives an economic surplus. So basically, because of this technology as opposed to pre-industrial standards, we live in times, but because of all this technology and automation, we are richer, which is a good thing, right? Because we are richer, and that means that because technology is doing all the hard work, what is the conclusion? We don't have to work as much. But is that the truth in our FAP society? No, people are working much more and getting paid way less. Where's all the money then from the surplus in the hands of all the rich billionaires in the U.S. and Silicon Valley, the tech billionaires there, who are way richer than the king was in the 1700s.
And you have Bill Gates buying up land and farms in the U.S.
Yeah, and that's a problem because the argument is always, it still is, yeah, but you need to work in order to, and the people who work need to be rewarded. But seriously, do you need to be rewarded with $200 billion that you can't even spend in 10 lifetimes with your family. I mean, the sense, like, people have just lost a sense of reality. I think the YouTube video, what was it called? The real wealth distribution in the U.S. I think from 2014 sums it up perfectly, where he said, what was it? Of course the top executives they work harder, but do they really? Yeah. Oh yeah. No, it was because the top 1% earn 380 times more than the average worker. So. Yep. Does the top executive really work 380 times harder than the average Joe?
Fuck no.
Fuck no. And there you have it. The unhealthy unequal distribution of the wealth, where the surplus that comes from the technology, which has taken all the labor, that is being accumulated in the rich in America. Whereas here in Denmark, we have the welfare system that is where we take a lot of taxes, but then we're spreading it out so that people like me can search for a job on a damn near full-time salary, can search for a job that'll give more meaning than just doing what David Graeber calls bullshit jobs, where you just sit and be like, I'm trading, I'm selling, like telemarketing. Oh man, fucking. I was just finding this interesting interview on the Wikipedia site for bullshit jobs, where he specifically says the telemarketing industry shouldn't exist, and I agree, because they produce no value to society.
I wanted to say something back to like the politics here, that when these like peace negotiations collapsed in Iran,
it has been on.
Yeah.
Where was Trump?
The peace the one that were in the weekend.
Yeah, where was Trump during this negotiation?
Oh yeah, he wasn't there.
When it collapsed. Nah, he was watching some fucking UFC event in Miami.
What the fuck?
Like, hanging out with fucking ice and
fuck, man.
and then sent JD Vance to head up these fucking peace negotiations.
Wow. So if we go back to the conspiracy theory again, the war that Nate, our man Nate, and Trump had secretly planned behind the back of Vance now has to be negotiated by Vance. Fuck, man. Vance must be so fucking pissed right now.
Yeah.
If I were Vance, I would be pissed at Trump right now. Holy shit.
Yeah, I started this war that you said I shouldn't start. But like, you will like take care of that, right? So,
yeah, just handle that in a couple of days and I'll just watch some UFC. Fuck, man. That is the top of narcissism right there. Holy fuck. Wow. Man, if Vance gets through the next 2 years without a heart attack, I'm gonna say that's a miracle.
Yeah. Fuck. And he also had like Marco Rubio with him at this fucking UFC event.
What the fuck? Okay. And then leaving Vance to deal with the shit himself.
Hanging out with like hanging. Fuck.
Wow. Jesus Christ. Oh my god. Well,
and then like, oh fuck, man. Trump walks into the UFC events there arena, and then you're having like Kid Rock playing in the background.
Fuck, man. Oh, man. Yeah, this situation is definitely far from resolved, and it's only gonna get worse. But one thing we can hope for is like the positive. I have to underline the positive of all this, which is what Richard Precht was talking about, which is that because of this big ass failure. That although Trump might not realize it, America sure is starting to realize this fail. Big ass fail with the Iranian attack, or with the attack on Iran. Then because of this big ass failure, and because of Putin's failure in trying to invade Ukraine, the world can now conclude that the world is, because of the world's globalization, the world is too connected that big superpowers like the US and Russia can launch any kind of war without big repercussions on their own economies and on their own populations. And that's hopeful, because maybe that's going to keep other superpowers like China from doing the same with Taiwan. I mean, what was the leader of China?
Xi Jinping.
Yeah, Xi Jinping would have to be an idiot to do the same now with Taiwan. I mean, all he has to do is to wait, and then he will probably absorb Taiwan anyway in a couple of decades. So that would be the smart move. So I'm actually gonna go so far as to say I'm gonna call it right now, because I've I'm 33 years old, studied intercultural studied German, following politics, reading up on shit, learned motherfucker as I am. I'm going to call now that the superpower of the next decade is going to be China.
Yeah.
While Russia and the US are going to decline.
I think so too, man.
I may be wrong, but seems to be where I'm reading where the situation is heading.
Yeah. Especially with a fucking president that is like taking selfies with Dana White at the UFC.
Fuck, man. Shit, man. Wow. That is nuts, man.
I mean, like it feels like Dana White is like choosing to hold these UFC events in Miami just for the benefit of Trump having like a short travel distance from his home.
Fuck, man. Jesus. Alright, I think that was it for this episode, this spontaneous episode. I don't know if any of the listeners noticed this, but we had no intro this time. But
yep.
we are going to make an outro, I guess.
So
maybe.
So to the aliens that are like listening to this 100 years in the future, you can like clone us from our voices, and bring us back to life, and teach you more shit about like what happened when we were alive.
You can build a virtual copy of us based on all the data you collect from us on the internet. But just promise me one thing, you aliens out there. Don't make me look bad.
And have some beer ready for us when we wake up.
Yeah, well, you do know that's not gonna be you, though.
Yeah. No.
It's just gonna be a copy of you.
A copy of me, but still it would be like, it would be like a version.
Yeah. But like, like I wouldn't give a shit about that because it still wouldn't be me. So.
Yeah, no, true.
But that's that's another discussion about what human consciousness is and Schopenhauer and all that nice jazz. But we can take that in another episode.
Yeah.
All right, peace
All right.
out.
Peace out. Don't forget to sub.